Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Pauper video. Today, courtesy of John S., we are going to be taking a look at Inside Out Combo. This is a little card that switches a creature's power and toughness until the end of turn and draws a card. And our combo finish with this deck involves a Tireless Tribe. You can discard a card to give this +0/+4 until the end of turn. So the idea is you go and make this unblockable or otherwise get a safe attack. Then you go ahead, discard most of your hand, play an Inside Out, and all of a sudden each card you discarded actually gives you 4 additional power, and you finish the game in that capacity. Some of the cards here, such as, I can't click properly, such as Faithless Looting and Prismatic Strands, also have some amount of value associated with discarding them, so like that is something that can play into the deck's synergies as well. One of the very first things that I want to mention here is that this deck list was submitted prior to the printing of some of the new cards that are either brand new or more commonly have been downshifted into Pauper. So, for example, Monastery Swift Spear is now Pauper legal. If you're interested in reading more about these, I do have an article up on my Patreon about a whole bunch of the things that have been downshifted and kind of what I think they are going to do to Pauper. The rest of the shell here is going to kind of look like the Boros synthesizer shell. We're hoping to pick up value ETB artifacts like Experimental Synthesizer with our Glint Hawks or with our core Skyfishers. And the wedding invitations that we're going to use to make things unblockable also kind of play into this. So we're kind of like a Boros synthesizer deck, but we have fewer ETB things that we can blink since we are also trying to fit in like this 8-card combo here. As far as the sideboard goes, like we have clear answers for affinity, we have clear answers for blue decks like fairies, and then a handful of other utility tools. I'm going to highlight Light of Hope here because I expect that many of you don't know what this one is. Yeah, I expect that we are going to see some very powerful decks on the video today. These are going to be my first games in sort of this new Pauper world. Based on screenshots I've been seeing on Twitter, decks are good. Let's go ahead and just jump into things directly here. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you like what you see. And if you're a regular follower, please throw me a like before this video begins. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. And please consider giving me a follow on Twitter if you want to follow all of my guest content. I'm going to be doing a lot of EDH and CEDH content in the next week in particular. All right, let's battle. Okay, round one hand is kind of whatever. I think I'm going to keep it. Like, I do have the Tireless Tribe in the Inside Out, which can represent a whole lot of damage. I think I'm just going to play this on turn one with the intention of picking it up on turn two post-combat. I think that's my plan. Like, there's also worlds where I can play Windsguard Crag. So, if I play a land, I have 4, 8, 12, 16, 17 damage. A lot. I don't think I just take that here. Because I can try to do the same thing another turn or two down the line. Let's go ahead and do this. I maybe pick up a land though now instead of the Tireless Tribe. Yeah, let's just like pick that up. And then next turn I can theoretically go for it if my opponent taps out and doesn't have a blocker. That's fine. Alright. I can attack into this, and if my opponent doesn't block, I just have a kill. Or I can try to just do it next turn with 2 Tireless Tribes in play. I like that better. I don't really want to waste a card keeping this alive if my opponent does block. Let's go ahead and just poke in for 2. I imagine we are playing against a straight-up prowess deck with both Monastery Swift Spear and Seeker of the Way. Let's play this land here and throw the other Tireless Tribe into play. So I'll have 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 theoretical damage that I'm swinging in for next turn. A golden egg is fine. No worries there. And then if opponent taps this land, they are dead. Okay, that's fine. Take that damage. Okay. So if I attack with all of these and Core Skyfisher is blocked, I have 1, 2, 18, or 8, 12, 16, 17, 18 damage. Or I can just like remove Glint Hawk, attack for 4, and continue to play conservatively. Maybe I just continue to play conservatively here. Actually, maybe I don't make the decision until... fuck it. Let's go. Okay. 16, 18. Yeah, I think I'm fine going for this here. All right. Yeah. 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 Inside out. That's 17, 18, 19 damage. I can keep this thing alive if I want to. I don't know that I need to. I think I'm just going to go ahead and accept that. The Seeker of the Way is a little annoying. Like, there was also a world where I used the, what is it, a Journey to Nowhere on this so that my opponent can't gain life. It's also possible that I've underestimated how much life gain this deck can do. Like, if they play a life gain thing and then bounce it, I might not be able to close out the game like I am hoping to do. Yeah, this sort of thing is the problem here. Wait, no, that they have to pay mana to gain that life. That's okay. So, yeah, now they bounce that. Yeah, I may end up being a little outside of the range that I want to be. I will get a draw 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't think putting my opponent to 1 is going to be good enough here. Like, they've already gained 5. They can gain 3 more on their turn. Just by playing the egg. Alright. Let's yield to some stuff, because a lot of stuff is about to happen. Alright, let's see how bad this is. Bad. This will go at my Core Skyfisher, meaning my blocks aren't good anymore. Yeah, I think my opponent spun this one around. Yeah, I don't know that I would have won even if I removed this, though. My opponent just has so many creatures now. Like, I would have had a couple more land drops to work with, but this is a lot of damage. My opponent has life gain from this, and egg. Yeah, I'm at 6. I think I fell a little short here, and now my opponent gets to blink that synthesizer. Yeah. And they get a bonus land out of it. Playing another Squadron Hawk basically means I'm dead. I have to loot. Gain a life, play that, pick that land up. No, I think I'm donezo here. Yeah, so combo kill doesn't feel like it's going to keep up with what my opponent is doing. Unfortunately, this sideboard is not super well suited to fighting this. Might play another Prismatic Strands. I don't know, like, they have such a good mix of colors. Like, this isn't going to be the best fog in the world. Maybe I play this, though, as something to protect Tireless Tribe from instant speed removal if I am going for the combo. Actually, I can probably cut Relic over Faithless Looting. Okay. Double Inside Out is super awkward here, as is double Bounce Land. I think this one needs to be a mulligan. Hey, that has to be a mulligan as well. Yikes. So I'm going to keep this. One Tireless Tribe goes away. And I think I get rid of the Prismatic Strands. Going to be kind of an awkward, slow start to a game, which is not a good place to be versus a Monastery Swift Spear deck. Behold, the beating I am about to take. Okay. Okay. I have so many things that I can't really play with Experimental Synthesizer if I play it this turn. This is awkward. Like, I'm not using my mana super efficiently here. I also, like, because I have mulligan multiple times, I don't really have enough cards in hand to just combo off. We'll see if I'm only taking one here or if I am taking more than that. Yeah, I am just taking the one. And we're following it up with a tapped land. I don't think I'm quite ready to attempt to just, like, go to town yet, especially with my opponent, like, holding up Lightning Bolt mana. I think I'm just going to go ahead and poke in for one. Play a score or Skyfisher. Bounce the mountain so that I can make my land drop for turn. And I think I'm going to pass the turn there. Alright, another Swift Spear is fine. Lightning Bolt, target my core Skyfisher. How much damage do I do if I, with just any random card? 4, 8, 9 damage. Not anywhere close to lethal. I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to bolt one of those Swift Spears. Alright, so the other one gets bigger. I lose core Skyfisher. Yeah. The incidental life gain that is in this deck feels crushing to me as well. Okay. Squadron Hawk is a very good card here because it just represents more physical cards in my hand that I can discard for Inside Out. So there's my Birdcestral Recall. And next turn, I will have 5 cards in hand. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Next turn, I theoretically kill, but it probably won't be safe to do so. How much I take from Swift Spear this turn. Alright, it is just the one. That's fine. It is a blocker that just gets in the way, though. Like, in that regard, it is annoying. I can attempt to go for it here. Or no, this is not protection. It prevents all damage. Sure. I can't really attempt to go for it. This experimental synthesizer misses a decent portion of the time. Alright, let's see what we find. Another Tireless Tribe. I mean, yeah, I'll play that. Really wanted to hit a land there, though, not gonna lie. I'll just give a little love tap and then hopefully attempt to combo off next turn, question mark. Opponent started to pay costs on something and then stopped. So when I go off, I will want to make sure that I have the prismatic strands protection available, which is fine. Just may make it slightly more obvious what is about to happen if I just, like, randomly hold the Squadron Hawk back and attack with 2 Tireless Tribes. Yeah, that's fine. I am happy to see opponent use those resources. Ooh. Oh, but I can't cast that and get in there, huh? Hold Squadron Hawk back. I attack with both of those. One of them gets through. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 damage. This goes a little poorly for me in worlds where my opponent has 2 different 1-mana removal spells, I guess. Okay. No blocks declared. But we're going. 13, 17, 18 total between the 2 creatures. There's the theoretical lethal. There's the switch. And see if my opponent's dead. So I can just increase the toughness of my creature there using this card. Oh. Neat. That doesn't work the way that I thought it did. What's the wording of this? Let's see. Okay. Alright, we'll have to use the prismatic strands then. Alright, name red. See if they have a second 1-mana removal spell. They do. That's unfortunate. Pick red. Okay. I basically can't win this game from here. Like, I just discarded my entire hand to try to kill my opponent. I'm comfortable conceding here. We're not coming back from that board wipe there. GG's. Okay. I have a single colored mana source here. It doesn't cast my primary creature. That's a mulligan. This is a mulligan for the same reason. Wow. This is not good. I guess at this point I'm keeping this hand. I pitch the just, like, least flexible cards here. And I guess we're going to try to get value off of my Glint Hawk by rebuying this land in most cases. But I kind of feel like I'm playing an inferior version of like the Boros Synthesizer deck right now that just has a bunch of dead cards. Also, if we just get bullied by Swift Spear 4 rounds in a row, I'm not gonna have a good time. Yeah. I can play that so I can Lightning Bolt that Swift Spear next turn. I have a decent amount of incidental life gain here, but I don't really. Oh, fuck, this isn't Core Skyfisher. Alright, that one's on me. That one's on me. Let's see how much damage I take here. Yeah, life's bad, so we're playing against the Hot Dog stack. And I'm going to take a gajillion damage if I ever let one of these creatures through. So I'm going to go ahead and play Wedding Invitation here. My card. Not great. I guess, like, the inside outs aren't necessarily the worst thing in the world, right? Like, they technically can do some defensive things versus a Kiln Fiend. But after my double mulligan and play error, I'm just, like, not in a good position. Especially since my opponent can, like, start trying to go for things with some amount of protection. His double Lava Dart discarded is disgusting. Reckless Charge, is that +2/+0? +3/+0. Or am I going to get Assault Strobed or equivalent? Oh, another Reckless Charge. Sure. That's roughly half my life total here. Ow. Just, basically, ow. Opponent still has, like, multiple Lava Darts in the tank for the future. I think I need to just pass the turn here and use this as, like, a baby fog against these Reckless Charge effects. Alright, there's another land drop. Got a flashback Faithless Looting, if nothing else. Oh, okay. Sure, that's also fine. God, that has flashback? That's gross. I also kind of dig the art, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, opponent is going for Lava Dart shenanigans. Okay, sure. That's fast. +3/+3, sure. The symmetrical ones are bad for me, right? Because that means that this is now 9-10 damage. Can't draw into Prismatic Strands as Fog. Lightning Bolt isn't an out anymore. Yeah, that brute force kept me from seeing another turn there. I'm gonna go ahead and concede. Yeah, so I think I'll play Light of Hope as some incidental life gain and play Prismatic Strands to help me out here. I do not feel like my deck is competitive versus Swift Spear decks. What am I supposed to pull out? Little Wedding Invitations, maybe? My opponent's going to be turning their creatures sideways a good portion of the time. Yeah, do not feel good about this matchup, or I think any Swift Spear matchup. Now, I do want to say, I believe that this deck list did top 8 something 2 or 3 weeks back. So, like, this was a competitive deck list, but Pauper might have changed enough where that's just, like, not the case anymore. Yeah, I guess I'll keep this. Like, this allows me to kind of try to go for my thing pretty damn quickly. Alright, yeah. Yeah. So I'll have 4 cards in hand that I can discard for Inside Out next turn. So that's 17 total damage. So I'll just play Squadron Hawk this turn to increase the number of cards in my hand and then attempt to go for a kill in the not too distant future after that. Alright, there's my 1 damage. Let's play the Birdcestral Recall. Yes. Draw 3. Opponent doesn't have an end of turn Lightning Bolt or anything. My opponent taps out to play. Oh no, okay. They are not. Yeah, then I'll just keep playing cards out. Like, I very much have the onboard advantage currently. Opponent drops to 17. Play out a Squadron Hawk. No search. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm okay playing a bounce land. Return a plains to hand. Call it a turn. Alright, opponent's making a land drop. There's a Kiln Fiend. I'll just start by attempting to kill that. If my opponent has like an Apostle's Blessing they want to use to try and save it. They do. This is sort of awkward because I believe this is target creature. Yeah. I have to exile one of my birds here. Alright. Such is life. Guess I just play another Boros Garrison. I don't have an artifact to bounce for Glint Hawk right now, which is like definitely awkward. It's also possible that playing out a second Quadrant Hawk is just better. But I think if my Tireless Tribe ever gets to successfully get in the red zone, my opponent's just dead. There are worlds where I'm just dead, though. I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to attack with this. I'm supposed to leave it back for the Kiln Fiend. There's absolutely worlds where I could have died there. Alright, let's just keep attacking in the air. I need like a wedding invitation or something to force this through. Alright, opponent drops to 13. And I can go Ancient Den. Thick value off my Glint Hawk. Yes, bounce Ancient Den. 2 mana for a Squadron Hawk. Nothing to search for with the trigger. Call it a turn with an Inside Out up. I can just peck away at my opponent with my literal birds for 4 damage a turn. If I can't be attacking with this Tireless Tribe. Okay, well that's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop my opponent to 9. Then it's a question of, like, do I want to leave out double Inside Out in case one of them is countered by an Apostle's Blessing? A chump blocker is also worth something. Not going to use that ability, and I don't know if I am... I don't need that much to combo off with this, actually, so I think I will make an artifact land drop specifically. In case I draw another Glint Hawk. Alright, there's another Kiln Fiend. Okay. So, with double Inside Out up, I think it's pretty unlikely that I die. I'm just going to send in all the birds and just have my opponent dead next turn. Drops them to 4. Play Windsguard Crag. And we'll see if I die. Opponent's got a land drop. So I should probably cast that on this creature right here. That way if they do a protection from red thing, it fizzles this card. Alright, so there's my Inside Out. Oh my god, what a draw. Like, I have both Prismatic Strands and a second Inside Out available, and I can do both. Or cast Prismatic Strands twice for that nature. For that matter, rather. This is quite funny. Uh-huh. Go ahead and block here. Like, win through all of this. That's fine. You're a 4/12. Or Battle Rage is fine. That's effectively 8 unblocked damage. I think I just let that happen at this point. Like, I just want to hold up casting Prismatic Strands for the Electrickery type cards. Yeah, there's the concession. Alright, I may have a little bit more game than I expected here. Well, maybe I'm not supposed to board out these wedding invitations. Like, I don't really want to board out my flyers, because, like, pecking through for damage is important. It's just, like, awkward when they hold back stuff. Maybe I junk my Faithless Lootings and keep the wedding invitations. Like, the wedding invitations are just so much worse on the draw, though. So, I don't know about that, and, like, the Faithless Looting can help me dig towards my removal cards. I have a Prismatic Strands, which is really cool, but I can't cast any of my red cards. I don't have the Inside Out for this, and I don't have red mana to get my value going with this. That's a mulligan. This is also a mulligan. I effectively have no lands. Oh my god. Alright, well, how many am I on? I am on 4 cards. Fuck. Okay. I mean, keep. It's probably 2 lands of these 2 cards. Hope to spike a Tireless Who's What's It. Probably these 2 lands. That was an unmitigated disaster as far as mulligans go. And I'm not doing anything fast since all those lands were tapped lands. Alright, at least I'm not dealing with a Swiss Spear on turn 1. Wow, that's not bad. Okay. So I have a body. That's the good news. The bad news is that turn 3 can be absolutely horrifying for me. So if my opponent just goes like critter here into attack me for infinite damage on turn 3, like there's just nothing I can do about that as of right now. The Inside Out can be defensive after that. Don't think I can really play this turn. Alright. There's a garrison. Scoop up this land. And whatever happens, happens. This is what the hot dogs deck is supposed to do, right? Like, catch your opponent stumbling, they die. No, okay. I'm not dead this turn. Next turn though. Real fucking bad. Real fucking bad. And like inside out isn't really going to save me against two of these. Yeah, I probably need to hold the inside out up, but it's only a baby fog. Now we're seeing like how much worse the wedding invitations are on the draw, where like these creatures are coming down first. All right, damage report. Okay. Uh, yeah, this is not okay. I just like don't really have enough removal in my deck to realistically beat all this stuff. Like my opponent doesn't need to cast that many cards. Like next turn, just the lava dart alone represents 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 additional damage. Yeah, I am super screwed. Help me, synthesizer. You're my only hope. I don't think I have a snowball's chance here at winning this. Additional land drops helps. Like I have to hold this up to soak up some damage, but like, how am I going to beat 4 creatures? Like, even opponent just flashing back Faithless Looting and Lava Dart probably kills me, right? What did I say? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. So that's 9 damage, 18 damage, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 damage represented here. So, like, you know, we're moving on. I'm not beating this. I'm not beating this. I'm not really sure if this hand is capable for round 3. So, like, I don't have an artifact to return with this Glint Hawk until turn 3. Can't play Experimental Synthesizer until turn 3. I have an okay amount of stuff for Tireless Tribe if I draw it. Reluctant Keep, question mark? Like, hand's not good, but every time I mulligan, I make my combo considerably worse. Like, maybe I just kind of accept this. Alright. So, guess I can go ahead and just, like, get my value off of this land and bounce it. And kind of go from there. Like, there are some worlds where, like, I can just do something with untapped mana on turn 2. Yeah, and the more normal versions of the Boros Synthesizer deck just have more artifacts that, like, they can bounce with the Core Skyfishers and Glinthawks and stuff, so I feel a little at a downside in that regard. If I want to try to get my value over time, I can start playing, like, Wedding Invitation or Experimental Synthesizer now, and then actually work towards playing some of these in future turns. I don't hate it. I can also just Flame Slash Core Skyfisher. Play Boros Garrison. That's probably fine as well. I don't have the makings of a fast hand, so I might as well, like, start the value grind, because, like, my opponent's deck will certainly do that as well. Oh shit, it's an actual factual mirror. Okay. They have relics. I think I have 1 relic. Sure, that's fine. Alright, well, there's my Tireless Tribe. Am I playing around stuff? Or am I just setting up to kill next turn? I think I just set up to kill next turn. Unless I specifically, like, spike a removal spell here. Alright, draw my card. Land drop Tireless Tribe. And we'll kind of see what happens here. I could block, and we could have a very awkward game of discard. Or I can not block and maybe die. Oh, not block and maybe die. Okay, it's 1 damage. Cool. That's a bird. The opponent gets to draw 3 here. And kind of the shitty thing is, like, they can be leaving out an inside out to, like, swap my power and toughness back after I do, like, the whole cool thing. So, oh, shit. They're dead. Yeah, that's fine with me. Actually, they cannot be dead if they have prismatic strands. F. Have 2. They have 2 unknowns in hand. Or sorry, they have 3 unknowns in hand. They've played 2 birds. Alright. Blockable. Now that I know that this works afterwards, go ahead and do this now. Start discarding some cards, or 8, really 9, 13, 17, 21, and we'll see if they have Prismatic Strands as one of their remaining cards. God damn it. Alright. So now I've lost. Like, I went for the combo first, and my opponent had the out to it. Alright. Yeah. So now I expect that I just lose this one basically immediately. Yeah, okay. So my opponent will just discard a handful of cards. 9, 10, 11, 13, 17, 18, 19 damage. Last card kills me. Yep, okay. Prismatic Strands looking good. I'll board in the other one of those. Do I want anything else? Electrickery is kind of nice versus Squadron Hawks, and I guess kind of Tireless Tribe. Maybe I'll play that as well. I don't think I want to mess around with something like this. Or that Relic out. Maybe looting. I don't know. Looting, finding, and discarding Prismatic Strands is kind of interesting. But I think there are going to be a lot of matches that come down to attacking each other with like Squadron Hawks and Glint Hawks and such. And has a lot of redraws, but doesn't go anywhere fast. I don't know if I'm supposed to keep this. Like, I just don't feel good about my opening hands with this deck just so far in these first couple of rounds. Like, am I supposed to keep something that just like has some degree of aggression, or is this fine? I don't know that this is fine. Ugh. That's effectively a 0-lander. Mulligan again. 5. I guess we're keeping it. Throw back. A Boros Garrison and a mountain, and hope that Prismatic Strands saves this hand. I can't play this Tireless Tribe for a long time. Alright, let's see how bad opponent's turn is for me. Not bad. This Tireless Tribe doesn't do me a lot of good in play right now. I'm gonna go ahead and bounce this, call that a turn. And if opponent starts the pain train going, no. An awful lot of nothing going on. I think I'm going to at least play out one more land for being able to hardcast a Prismatic Strands if need be. My land count in this deck, my land count's 20. What do you have for me? Alright, so opponent's grinding value. I have an awful lot of nothing going on. Luckily their hand is slow and clunky as well. Just yikes though. Our first hand would have been totally respectable versus my opponent's slower hand. Alright, opponent kind of sat there for a little while. I think they just went AFK. Alright, back to the internet for me. Okay, they're back. Alright, there's a wedding invitation again. I need something to do with my mana or I am going to eventually get buried. Like, I am basically sitting on 5 blanks in hand. Not quite true, but it's more or less true. Okay. This is the sort of thing that I need. Now Inside Out starts looking like a good draw. Alright, draw my card. Alright. I will take the value off of that land drop. I'm not worried about like holding up Prismatic Strands to hardcast it yet. Alright. Apologies for that. Okay, opponent is back again. Bounce their wedding invitation here. Kind of continue to grind value. Yep. I'm running on empty, and I feel like my opponent is still doing stuff, which is a bad sign. They can also just start pecking me in the air with these. Like, it changes if I draw like an Inside Out specifically, I guess. Probably just hold all this. Like, playing the land drops matters if I chain together multiple things. Otherwise, kind of whatever. Like, it's very easy for me to cast multiple Prismatic Strands already. That's awful. I may end up in a situation where I just have to, like, straight up use Prismatic Strands as fogs for a bunch of turns in a row. Sure, that's fine. Now, notably, opponent not taking the full Squadron Hawk set here because they just have so many cards in hand already. gonna go ahead and take this attack, but I might start fogging on subsequent turns. Okay. I'll just be passing my turn here. This is some pretty bad flooding. All fog. Begrudging fog. Like I can do this for a while. But I effectively have 0 cards in hand. My opponent has 8 cards in hand, like more counting the Squadron Hawks that they are able to search up. And I'm not the best at actually winning the game if I draw inside out, because I don't have another creature to flashback prismatic strands with. Okay, well, there's a creature. That's a pretty good draw, I guess. Guess I am just going to vomit these onto the board. Alright. 2 mana Hawk. Make a land drop. 2 mana Hawk. Still have 6 cards in hand. I haven't accomplished doing any chip damage this game. My opponent's life total has just, like, continued to go up. Not great. Sure. Finding a lightning bolt. Sure. That's rude. I guess I will just treat this as a fog. Name white with that. Opponent can lightning bolt in response if they want to, like, try to force me to guard something that they can actually exile from my graveyard. Yeah, that's fine. But if you're going to do that, I think you do that with the relic trigger still on the stack so that you actually exile something. Okay, I have a lightning bolt of my own. I don't really think means a lot here. Like, I'm getting rid of fractions of cards. 1, 2, 3, 1. I don't need to play any more lands. Alright. Life's bad. We'll see how long I can weather this storm for. But, like, I don't expect like me ripping an inside out to actually kill my opponent. Like, they're both at 26, yeah, and have a bunch of resources. Let's lightning bolt a Glint Hawk away, and White Samurai. White Samurai. I think from there I'm just gonna go ahead and take this hit. I'll take the 5 damage and, like, try to sit on this prismatic strands for as long as I can. I am going to lose my mind. Alright, pass the turn. I can consider, like, poking in with Hawks there. But I might want to just trade away bodies this turn. I don't know. Like, if I use Prismatic Strand as Logs, I don't think I end up in a great position. Maybe I'm supposed to just trade some of these away. Like, I just feel absolutely fucking buried by cards. Yeah. Right. Sure. Okay. I can actually try to grind some value this turn. So I'll return my Wedding Invitation. 2 mana, play my Wedding Invitation. There's an inside out. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 25, 26 theoretical damage. Almost. There's so much interaction there. I think I'm just gonna pass the turn. I'm gonna pass the turn and go for it next turn. If I discard the Prismatic Strands too. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 29. Okay, let's go. I don't know that things are getting better. I'll cast this inside out and start doing the thing. 2, 3, 4, 17, 21, 25. That's lethal. Yep. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and concede. I don't think I'm winning from here. Let's move on. GG's. Okay, round 4, opening hand. As a Tireless Tribe and a Wedding Invitation to make it unblockable. I just have a bunch of Squadron Hawks that I can play. I don't have any good or Skyfisher value, really. I don't really feel good about this hand. But, like, maybe with Wedding Invitation and Core Skyfisher, like, that's slow but acceptable value. Just don't like how infrequently I am actually able to curve out with this deck. Like I think like all these tapped lands and like these different combinations of cards that can be clunky together is just like making me feel very behind in a Monastery Swiftspear world. I'm gonna guess we're playing against some sort of like fairy style deck list, so I don't think I want to play a 1-drop into those here. So I think I'm just gonna um, cycle a card with Wedding Invitation essentially. Oh, that was good enough for a counterspell. That is surprising to me. I guess I'll take that. Play Hawk before I draw more Hawks. Sounds okay. I've gotten no Surd once again. I'll gain a little more life here. It did not immediately fetch with Evolving Wilds, notably, meaning they might have some sort of like Ponder or Brainstorm effect that they want to use. Now we'll see the oh, I'm not immediately going for the fetch. There's an Inside Out. There are like Gurmag Anglers and stuff that I need to think about. Start with a course Kai. Let's start with Birdman. The intention of picking this up. Just replaying that. And then I think I'm going to try to feed Relic of Progenitus to a fairy. Nope, I was not successful. Alright, and there goes Brainstorm. So, like, I have some theoretical combo parts in hand here. Okay, so, like, they... Oh, okay, they have another Brainstorm, sure. Okay, and we are finally seeing the Evolving Wild cracked to shuffle. Alright, more cantripping. That. Or 2 cards, return that from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Sure. Okay. Random Chainer's Edict in graveyard. I am unsure how important my opponent's graveyard is. Like, in terms of cards like Gurmag Angler, blowing this immediately sounds like a good idea. I don't want to try to hit another land drop. Don't know how good this line is. Do I play this out? Just like make my opponent look at it and respect it? Maybe. I don't know if that's better than playing Core Skyfisher and just gaining some more incidental life. I just like legit do not know what my opponent is playing. I've never seen a deck with this card before. Okay, there's another land drop. Oh wow, that's coming in. Didn't really expect that. I straight up don't know what to be expecting here. I mean, I can try to kill my opponent. I guess I can start with some attacks and see where that goes. Not very good at dealing with an actual factual removal spell here. Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, I might just lose the game for going for this. Let's find out, I guess. There's the first discard, second discard, third discard, fourth, 17. That's lethal. Yeah, I mean, such is life, right? Prismatic Strands wouldn't have protected against that anyway. Okay. It feels like every time I have gone for the combo, I have gotten punished for it. Like, I can maybe be more patient, but, like, opponent was on one card and made like, a questionable play that made me think they didn't know what my archetype was doing. Or what does Jumpstart do? You cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. Sure. And, like, removing this creature doesn't do me a lot of good. Sure. I think I'm more or less at the point where I can concede this game. That's a very good draw. That can maybe do some things. There's a land drop that I can make, and then try to do something else with it next turn. Gonna, like, eat 6 more damage every turn, and, like, throwing lightning bolts at those things doesn't really solve a problem since they can just come back. Alright. Let's sacrifice this. Get to make a land drop. Guess I can use a Prismatic Strands as a fog effect. Sure. Good to know about. Sure. Okay. What my opponent is doing doesn't seem super strong to me. Like, I get that I'm saying that as, like, person playing the janky combo deck, but I don't know. It seems like opponent is jumping through a lot of hoops. I'm just gonna shut off the damage from things this turn as a way to gain 6 life. There's just like 11 power in play. Like, hey, I think we're done here. I have more relics. I have one more relic. I can play red blasts. They're kind of whatever though. Like they hit a bunch of stuff. I don't really have things that let me protect from targeted non-damage removal spells. Like, am I supposed to keep prismatic strands in the deck as a way to deal with just damage from those random 3/4 flyers and like Gurmag anglers? Or am I supposed to go down on those? Unsure. I'd probably play these because they get those out of the way as blockers just for the chip damage from these creatures. I'll go down on my lootings here. I don't know how many of these I want to play. Like, they buy time. I think I'm largely... I don't know. Like, maybe I need these so I don't just get clocked to death by an early Gurmag Angler. I don't know. Maybe the combo's bad. I don't really feel like I have enough cards to bring in that I can really trim the combo. I am very uncertain about my approach here. Yeah, I very much like a turn 1 on the play Relic of Progenitus so that my opponent's graveyard is just held in check forever. That seems incredibly good to me versus the sort of stuff that my opponent is doing. They can try to overload it, but I very much like having this. Like, that's probably my best possible turn 1 play. And, like, my opponent can play multiple cards as a way to try to power through this. Oh, just send that to exile. Do I want to Red Elemental Blast this? It's like Red Elemental blasting a 2/3 flyer. That seems fine. We'll just immediately pick at their graveyard at every single opportunity I get to do so. And then we'll go fishing. Bounce the Wedding Invitation. I am unsure how much they are going to fold to just like an early relic. Like they can eventually just vomit off a whole bunch of stuff in the same turn and like start powering through this. So like I would love to randomly draw my second one. I think I'm gonna like not necessarily optimize damage here and optimize just like grinding as many cards out of my opponent as I can. All right, draw my card. Okay, that makes next turn kind of cool. Go ahead and play Boros Garrison, bounce a land, call it a turn. Long term, I'd love to eat enough cards out of my opponent's graveyard to get rid of this Chainer's Edict. Or I can just get rid of the Chainer's Edict now if they don't actually play anything. That's nice. So, my opponent almost certainly has a counterspell up. Like, I don't necessarily have to feed a Core Skyfisher to it, but I can, and then just, like, play another one. I can also, like, play a Skyfisher and then Red Elemental Blast. A counterspell that goes on it. That's probably totally viable. Oh, neat. Bounce Wedding Invitation. I think I'll hold up Red Elemental Blast, just in case something weird happens. So let's just go ahead and redeploy the Wedding Invitation. Yeah, that's fine. Draw my card. Sure. And I can continue the or Skyfisher train next turn. That's fine. I'm just going to let that resolve. I can, like, emergency blow a relic if I feel like I have to do so. Yep, that is what it is. I think it's worth just keeping this around. Yeah. Continue drawing cards. This is a little awkward. Means I'm not going to have Red Elemental Blast up easily. I think I just kind of accept that. Bounce my Wedding Invitation. Play a new Boros Garrison. Bounce a land, call it a turn. Got 6 cards in hand, a 7th card stored on the board, and a partial way to deal with a Gurmag Angler. I'm not quite there yet. I'll Red Elemental Blast that and then get it out of the way. Or is it better to Flame Slash? I guess I can make the decision after playing a Wedding Invitation. Like, get 1 card deeper. Quadrant Hawk, sure. I can also just chump block Gurmag Angler for a very long time. Let's just deal with this thing forever. Then relic it out of the graveyard. I have Suffocating Fumes to think about, but I think I'm just good with producing more bodies here. Grab all 3. Play a land. Play a Hawk. Crash in for 4. It goes to 16. I think I take this hit, and then in future turns, start doing jump blocks. Inside Out's a little awkward for me. I can technically use it on a Core Skyfisher to accomplish some things. Alright, opponent goes to 10. Go ahead and do this. Play some Hawks. I'm making Fumes better for my opponent, which I don't like. Okay, no Fumes. I will absolutely just take a chump block here. Like, I still very much have a turn 2 clock, assuming no shenanigans. Yeah, I will Flame Slash that out of the way, and then Relic it. Sure, that's fine. At this point, what do I value more highly? Like Flame Slash or Red Elemental Blast? Unsure. I think I'm going to Inside Out this creature just to get a card deeper. Just get a card deeper again. Sure. I value the Red Elemental Blast higher now. Let's do that. Relic that out of the way. Play Crossroads. I think I'm good with sending in all of that here, putting my opponent to 2. This puts them into, like, Lightning Bolt range. Okay, there is the concession. It's going to be much harder if I don't have a Relic in my opener, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this deck has very little removal for the larger creatures that my opponent is playing that are outside of the range of these cards. So let's just hope to have Relic in the opener. Still, like, unsure about, like, Tireless Tribe Inside Out versus, like, playing just a bunch of copies of Prismatic Strands as Fogs. Like, if I could cut all 8 of those cards and bring in reasonable cards, I think I would be game with that, but I just can't. This hand does nothing. Like, this hand removes an early Gurmag Angler, but, like, I don't have an Inside Out to make these good. I don't think this is better than a hand that just grinds value. This is a hand that grinds value. It's a very slow hand. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to get rid of the second Boros Garrison or one of the 2 artifacts. If I keep the second Boros Garrison, I have so many land drops that I can hit. I think I'm going to do. But I don't get to keep my opponent's graveyard in check this time around. Or do I? Or do I? I would love to get this into play at a time where my opponent's tapped out. But I, like, just due to how my curve is going to work, I probably just need to play it this turn. Okay, yeah, cool. This is very nice. Go ahead and play Relic and start chipping away at my opponent's graveyard every turn. This is going to be just exceptionally slow in terms of casting my cards, but I'm going to do an okay job at keeping the graveyard in check. My opponent can just go land drop, discard 2 cards, return that thing if they want. Alright, exile a card. It'll be the Swamp. I can hold up mana to nuke that thing if my opponent tries to bring it back. That feels important enough to me to do it. Let's go 2 mana, just play out a Wedding Invitation. I lose the opportunity to play a tapped land this turn, but I end up, like, just playing a little safer in a lot of other regards. I kind of succeeded in making my opponent, like, air quotes, waste their mana for the turn, which is reasonable, but I wasted a little bit of mana as well. 2 mana Skyfisher, this. 1 mana Tireless Tribe. That sounds reasonable. Do this one first and try to feed this one to a counterspell. Fail. Okay, there's counterspell. So now opponent doesn't have 3 mana available for that. This is a good time to go ahead and activate the Relic. Nice. And we have the emergency pop relic available as well. What is this, a jellyfish? The spirit. Okay, sure. I'm going down to 20. Like, I have a lot of incidental life gain here. I'm not, like, overly worried about that sort of stuff. So, always Keep that graveyard in check as much as I possibly can. Get a little love tap for 1. When it goes to 19. I'll play Glint Hawk here. Just keep grinding value out of Wedding Invitations. I think that's worth throwing a red elemental blast at. Like, I could throw it at this. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, sure. Alright. Gurmag Angler is real close. I could pop this to avoid a Gurmag Angler situation. But then I, like, don't have this for the rest of the game. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and accept this. Little bad for me if Gurmag Angler comes to town. Looks like I'm just taking... Oh, no, I'm not taking anything. Brakes have been pumped. So let's start here again. I can Journey to Nowhere this creature. But if I do so, I get considerably worse at removing a Gurmag Angler. I also maybe don't want to just play out a bunch of Hawks to the board because of, what is it, Suffocating Fumes. I think I am going to do this anyway, though. Like, I am here for the chip damage right now, and I kind of hope that I can grind towards a way to deal with this stuff otherwise. Are we resolving? We are. So let's get that spirit out of the way. I'll crash in for 2 points of damage. And then I think in my second main phase, I'm just going to Boros Garrison, bounce the Crossroads, and I don't think I'm going to play out any more creatures. I'm thinking about the Relic. I think if one more card goes in my opponent's graveyard here at end step, I consider popping it. Okay, yeah, we're dodging Gurmag Angler. That means my opponent has other stuff. Nice. I will go ahead and play these free combat. I'm fine with that. Oh, fuck, I should have Relicked. Do that now. Yeah, sure. Alright, not really what I'm looking for, but it's fine. And we'll just continue the chip damage. Again, trying to make fumes as low impact as possible. Just feels like my opponent has it. Can't give any further explanation than that. Just like feels like I should be playing around it. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, there's a Stitchwing. It's better than my board right now, unfortunately. But we'll see what we can do about that. Play Glint Hawk. Bounce a Wedding Invitation. 2 mana, Wedding Invitation. All. 2 mana, Core Skyfisher. Bounce Wedding Invitation. I want to tap this land. Sure. 2 mana, Wedding Invitation. And drop. Poke a card out of your graveyard. And now I just kind of chill. Like, my opponent can't really attack. Like, I'm at the higher life total. And I like, in a turn or two, I will probably, like, dig my way towards finding something that gets this out of play. Sure. 2 mana Wedding Invitation. Again, I should be relicking first before I do anything else. 1 mana Attempt Synthesizer. Okay. There's my land drop per turn. I'm fine with playing out a Tireless Tribe. Put some pressure on my opponent on a different front. And next turn, I'll go ahead and sacrifice this and just kind of continue my value train. Sure is fine. Yeah, they kept whatever it was. Sure. I can consider popping Relic after that happens. I don't know, like, being able to get rid of Stitchwings forever seems more important right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Brainstorm is fine. Consider is fine. That's just going to clear cards for the Brainstorm. I've, like, somehow dodged Gurmag Angler this whole game, which is super sweet. Nice, another Synthesizer. Should I just play this Synthesizer first? I should probably just play this Synthesizer first. And what are we hitting? Hitting a land. Sure. I'm gonna crack one of these right now. Like, give myself some options. Or Skyfisher. Oh, the value. Guess we can Relic. Play out a Core Skyfisher. I think I'll just return this to get the 2/2. That seems fine. Yeah, I guess I'll play the Boros Garrison. I'll return the Crossroads. I don't really need to do anything with the mana right now, though. That's fine. I'll play this one next turn. Just working on digging something that gets this creature out of the way. Like, I can start just using Wedding Invitations as, like, ways to put chip damage in. Pass down on a Skyfisher. That's fine. I do also have, like, my clock to worry about. Like, I am taking a lot of game actions without really doing a lot. That's fine. Sure. Okay, Flame Slash is fantastic. Let's start there. Okay. Then I guess I start going to Synthesizer instead. Hitting a Core Skyfisher, lol. Let's do that. Turn the Synthesizer, get my 2/2 out of that. Play the Synthesizer. Find a Tireless Tribe that I cast. Play an Ancient Den. I can legit just turn a bunch of these creatures sideways in the next turn or two. Just win that way. Round is very slow. Like, it's absolutely my fault, but on it opting to discard a Gurmag Angler there. I guess rationalizing that, like, it attacking for a bunch of damage isn't necessarily going to get them anywhere. They discarded an Echoing Decay. Kind of wonder what that means about their hand. Sure. Junk a card. Junk a Synthesizer. Hey, a red Elemental Blast. Target this thing. You got a blue Elemental Blast. Sure. At this point, I think I just turn my creatures sideways. If a 2-power thing gets blocked, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage in. Followed by about the same thing next turn. I also can probably just pop this Relic, honestly. Alright. Try to keep this chain going. There's another red Elemental Blast. This enters tapped. That's fine. Slightly awkward timing here. Like, drawing that immediately after choosing to crack my card sucks a little bit. It is what it is. Alright, opponent goes to 5. Play a Crossroads, call it a turn. And I can get my biggest attackers in next turn using Wedding Invitations. I also think I'm just going to F6 my opponent's turn here. Okay, cool. Send them. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, so I can go ahead and discard some cards here. Keep these things alive for the future. I don't really care about the lands anymore. That puts my opponent to 1. Good with this. I'm not going to play out another Hawk. And then I'll just make a bunch of stuff unblockable for next turn. And swing in that way. Keep analysis, sure. That's fine. Sure. Relic. Wedding Invitation, Glinthawk. Wedding Invitation, Core Skyfisher. Wedding Invitation, a Samurai. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I win the match. Clock was a problem there. We did not get swept this league, so we will play another round. Okay, I've kept my opening hand here. I have the Tireless Tribe, the Inside Out, and the Wedding Invitation to go with it, and then just kind of the question is, like, when do I play these various cards? Not having another untapped land here. Oh, awesome. Opponent is a fan of the channel. You're in a video for later this week? Good luck. So I'm not sure if I should play Wind-Scarred Crag on turn 1 here to just, like, be able to Wedding Invitation on turn 2. Like, I don't think I go turbo here. If I had another untapped land so that I could immediately cast Inside Out, I think things are a little bit different. I'm gonna need that Wedding. Ooh. Scary. Less scary. Alright. So, if I play Tireless Tribe and Ancient Den this turn. Well, I'm always playing Ancient Den. If I play Tireless Tribe, I have 2, or sorry, they're counting by 4s. 4, 8, maybe 12, 16, 20 next turn. So I think I'm okay with just throwing this into play. Things get a little weird if my opponent plays a lifelink enchantment of some kind. Okay, that's fine. That's also fine, although slightly awkward. I can't just go for the kill on my turn anymore now. I'm fine with just taking that too. Go to 19. I'll have prismatic strands up to stop the scariest things, so I probably have a kill next turn. Actually, I guess I could have attacked in. No, I don't really want to tap this thing in case I need to use prismatic strands to prevent a shit ton of life gain. Like, that's what I'm scared of. That. No plans. I really like this art. Oh, that is a beautiful common. Okay, yeah, I'll take 2. Go to 17. My opponent playing instant speed interaction that I don't know about? They sure are holding up mana. I'm gonna look at a deck list. Like, I don't know what my opponent can have. Yeah, I can't think of anything, and I don't see anything at a glance here. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. More than enough. Alright. I guess I can make sure Inside Out resolves first, right? Okay, it does. I guess it's free to play this. From the Ancient Den. I'm unblockable. Send it in. No blocks. Do the thing. 4, 8, 12, 16, which is actually 17, 21. 21. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't. Okay. I even pulled up a deck list and, like, did not see anything that I needed to play around. That's unfortunate. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. Every single time I have gone for the combo in this league, I think I have, like, lost the game immediately for doing it. Which probably means that, like, this combo just should not be in the deck. So I can play a Prismatic Strands to fog and then fog again and buy 2 turns, but, like, I don't win the game by fogging for 2 turns. I probably don't really win the game by doing this either. And I'll do it. And let's fish out those birds. Oh, I discarded one. I see. That's fine. Life is bad. 3 mana for another Ancestral Mask. I'm just basically dead if my opponent can trample. Yeah. Yep. Alright. That's rough. Light of Hope destroys an enchantment, right? Okay. So this destroys enchantments. This destroys enchantments. Electrickery is reasonable. I can take out the Relic. Take out the Journey to Nowhere. That's not usually going to have targets. Same with Flame Slash. Then I guess Looting has kind of been one of my go-to cuts here. This has not functional mana. Do I go to 5 or do I keep this? Like, it's a really bad attack with Glint Hawk, and, like, I play Glint Hawk on 1 and, like, return my land back to my hand, and then I can do a turn 3 Revoke Existence. I don't really feel like this wins a game. Gonna mulligan it and just hope to find something better. Keep in Prey? Like, get rid of this. Get rid of Skyfisher? I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for Prismatic Strands as of right now, and I need to, like, bounce this a few times. I get to play my land drop. I get to gain some life. I can Electrickery an initial creature, which is nice. And I think I do just, like, pass the turn and Electrickery in response to some aura. I think I... Oh, fuck. This is an overload thing that deal damage to each creature. That's not actually going to work. I should have played Experimental Synthesizer and tried to hit a land drop. That's fine. Sure, so Electrickery is now off the table as something that kills this. Yeah, if I would have played Synthesizer, I would have hit a land drop in a meaningful way. Not that that would have really changed things, but I would have a 2/2 attacker this turn. I guess let's start trying to grind some value. Make some blockers. Yeah, I'll play that. Like, start working on the threat of my own combo. Like, I objectively made an error. Astral Mask, yeah. So much damage. Alright, I'm gonna eat that. And I think I need to keep this creature around. Glint Hawk versus Skyfisher. I guess I'll Glint Hawk. It gives me better chances at actually getting good value off of this. Alright, Synthesizer to hand. Yeah. There's a Hawk I can't actually cast. That's unfortunate, because that's like 4 turns worth of blockers. I think I just have to play this again, trying to hit land drops, which I'm not super happy about. Alright, come on, land. Nope. Alright. Life's bad. Opponent drops to a whopping 19. I expect to die this turn in most cases. Like if my opponent gets a trample effect, I am just dead. That's fine. I have to just jump block here, I think. Have to start absorbing that damage. I guess possible I can just go to 2 here so that I can electrickery this creature. Doesn't really feel great. Alright. Gunk the Synthesizer, try to hit a land drop or something. Brands. Like, almost works. Yeah. And now I'm chilling. Definitely dead to a trample card. In a bad spot if my opponent suits this thing up as well. Sure. I don't know, I kind of think that's supposed to go here, for what it's worth. Yeah. Then you have, like, 2 different things that I have to jump block. Alright, let's try to do things with this synthesizer. Otherwise, I'm just overloading an electrickery in an attempt to kill this. Garrison is fine. I need to leave both of these untapped. That means I'll bounce this land. And I'm chilling, and I have to chump block this. Situation not good. So I expect this to come in. I do just take the chump here. Unfortunately, this means that, like, my combo kill is off the table in the short term. Ledgewalker is fine. Let's overload this. Got a 2 for 1. But this is bad. So I have to do this to create a chump blocker for next turn. How would it... Lethal is the answer. Lethal is the answer. Alright. I don't expect to be able to crawl back from this. A lifelink enchantment basically kills me. A trample enchantment literally kills me. And anything that removes this creature, like a rem through, also just kills me. Alright, you know what? We're gonna die to that trigger. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, if it has trample, sure. Alright, never mind. We won't die to the trigger. We'll just die normally. And we end up with a 1-4 in this league. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Clunky. I think the whole, like, play artifacts and experimental synthesizers and bounce them with core skyfishers and glint hawks, like, that side of the deck is very good. But I think, and I recorded this in a couple of batches, so I don't remember for sure, but I think almost every time I went for the combo, I, like, lost the game because of it. Like, in some of those cases, I could have played more patiently, but in a couple of those, it was like, go for it, or I am at a horrible disadvantage with the game continuing. This is just working so much harder than, like, say, the Hot Dogs deck, where it's just like, play red creatures, play a bunch of stuff, and go, right? Like, the Hot Dogs deck is operating on a similar axis to Tireless Tribe, where every where every card is worth a certain amount of damage. But in order for every card to be worth a certain amount of damage, you also have to have Inside Out. And, like, overall, I don't think this combo finish is worth having these 8 cards in this deck list. And as far as sideboarding goes, like, I'm not super great at cutting these cards because most of these sideboard cards are really narrow, right? Like, this is for blue decks. 4 of these cards are specifically for artifact decks like Affinity. Kind of Revoke Existence fitting that too, although that one's a little more generic. Which means, like, I'm not actually working with that many generic cards that I can just kind of board in cases where the combo isn't necessarily good, and, like, a bunch of these cards are of relatively low power level. So, like, I just don't feel good about this deck. Without playing more games, I don't know for sure. I also feel like the mana base is awkward. Like, with the Crags and Crossroads and Garrisons all entering the battlefield tapped, you have very few times where you can just like curve out into a quick combo kill, right? Like with this mana base, it would be very difficult for me to just like play turn 1 Tireless Tribe, turn 2 Inside Out, and get a kill because like there are so many tapped lands here. So, like, in order to do something like that where I curve out in that nature, like I would have to have 2 of these 10 lands. And of those, like I need 1 of these 5 and 1 of these 5. And you can crunch the numbers if you want on that, but like you're probably not going off quickly in most cases. And if the plan is to grind, we probably need more than just these cards. I don't know. Like, I feel like I would have liked this deck okay before Swift Spear, but like Swift Spear does a lot of what this deck is doing more efficiently and without the risk of discarding your whole hand for the finish. And it seems like most of my opponents knew kind of what was up with this deck list, so I didn't just get very many like, oops, I didn't know this was a thing that could happen, you died. There is another version of this deck list that runs around, and I don't remember what this card is called or exactly what it does. But there's like some card where you can like sacrifice a snow land to return that card from the graveyard to your hand, and that's a way where you can just like more efficiently get a kill with Tireless Tribe. And that version played blue for a bunch of cantrips and counter magic. And like if you have counter magic, you can protect this combo, which I think matters because like it gets disrupted by a lot of stuff. Like, it gets disrupted by blockers. It gets disrupted by most removal spells, and counter magic on Inside Out as well is pretty rough. So those are my thoughts. This one gets a thumbs down from me in terms of like power level, but a thumbs up in terms of like deck building. Like it's a very neat idea to brew around. I like the idea. I just don't think it's good enough here. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. Have a great rest of the day. See ya.